This is my first video taking a look at some of the toys and action figures that I own. This is a Beast Wars Dinobot. If you're not immediately familiar with Beast Wars, shame on you, because it's the best Transformers cartoon series, period. Came out in the mid-90s, it was Canadian, we'll forgive that, and it was computer animated, so it does look a little bit dated. But the characters and the characterization and some of the sci-fi elements were a lot of fun, especially as a kid. I think it holds up pretty well today, but the way that it ties into G1 Transformers is pretty awesome. Dinobot is probably the coolest character in the series. So let's take a look at him in his beast mode. I think the eyes look kind of silly, like he's looking up or kind of making a herder face. Which, you know, whatever. And he's a velociraptor, and also a bit of a badass. So let's give this dude a little makeover and put him into his robot form. First, you just yank off the tail. Flip that backwards. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Flip these little arms out of the way. Yeah, kind of hard to keep this on camera and somewhere where I can transform him. Alright, put his little feet out. Alright. Bingo, bango, bongo. We got Dinobot in his robot mode. Let's try to straighten this out a little bit. Now, there's actually part of it that's missing. You see those two little spots right there on the side of his head? He had a clear plastic, kind of like this mutant mask that snapped over his face, which is something unique to the toy line and not something in the series. So when I was a kid, I was like, screw these things, and got rid of them. Now, the tail actually forms his weapon. So you split this open and it reveals horrifying dinosaur blood and meat. This weird little thing, which looks like a marital device, or marital aid. Stick that into his hands like so, and that's his sword, because Dinobot's a badass and uses a sword. And this spinny majig is actually his shield, which does not look like the world's most effective shield, but now, with the exception of that mutant mask, which is long since forever been lost, this figure is pretty accurate to what is in the show. And, yeah, Dinobot is one of the best characters, because in the pilot, he was one of the Predacons, or one of the bad guys. And because of Megatron's lack of warrior's honor and respect, Dinobot changed sides and went over to the Maximals, and was all about fighting and being honorable, and just one of the more unique characters in the show. Overall, this is a pretty top-notch figure. It definitely resembles the character from the show, which is cool. There were a lot of Beast Wars Transformers that never appeared in the show at all, like Buzzsaw, which is one of the figures I'll eventually be taking a look at. But the transformation process is very easy, very smooth, and looks pretty cool. The hands are kinda creepy, but they double as his, you know, raptor mode feet, so they look a little wonky. But other than that, this is a great figure. If you're a fan of Beast Wars, and you find one of these somewhere cheap, you know, like on eBay or whatever, yeah, I would pick this up. This looks pretty cool on a shelf, at least in robot mode, because those raptor eyes This thing is making kind of a herder face, and yeah, kind of goofy. But the posability is there. One of the things that the Beast Wars Transformers all kind of share is the ball joints. So they're all very posable, and that's good for the kind of figure that you take out of the packaging and screw around with like a Transformer. Posability is very important, and I always appreciate the Transformers that are very posable. Like I've got a Soundwave that I keep in boombox form because he's utterly impossible to pose in robot mode. So that was my first video taking a look at some of the action figures and toys that I have, and hope you enjoyed this little look at Dinobot.